All right, let's continue. So yeah, reconnecting with our dead is important, but more important also is reconnecting with our living. So as you know, and I always say, you know, slavery and colonization had made of us a mess. We just have to admit it. You know, the 20 plus years I lived in America, I used to think that the ones I had to be in the lookout for was the Caucasian or the Mondelez. But I found out that it wasn't true. We do the worst to one another, and we just keep on going by thinking that, you know, it's okay, or forever we're gonna play that victim, poor us, poor us, poor us. When we start taking ourselves seriously, when we start treating each other with respect, the rest of the world around us would be left with no choice but respect us. That's how it works, and not the other way around. So we have to address these things, you know, that we have. So I have to take you to, you know, the introduction of the Bantu Code of Unity per our elders. So now in my tribe, the Fang people, when it comes to, you know, training the children on the Bantu Code of Unity, when it comes to the home, you know, within your family, let's start from the home. Why the home? The home is our foundation, you know, the basic in life. We know we learn it from our parents, you know, from our home. So within that house, you know, our elders, they always made sure, you know, they taught us what is expected of us as sons and daughters pertaining to the same man and the same woman, or however you guys are siblings, okay? So our people say, moi tata, my father's child, moi nana, my mother's child. So our elders teach us through that we have a responsibility to one another. So you see, it brings a layer, an additional layer to brotherhood defined per the Bantu people. So even when we say my brother, it goes deeper than someone who just shares a DNA with you. So it put brakes on us. Now, at home, what do our elders tell us? So when it comes to home, consider home anybody who has the same understanding of identity as you. Our elders, you know, back in the days, especially when we used to go to the village, it was very common for our grandparents to serve the food in a big, like kind of like a big basket. And then all the grandchildren would sit around and we all would eat from the same pot. So that in itself cultivated unity. Okay? As you eat, your brother who's next to you should eat as well. So that was the training our elders were teaching us to, like, when you eat, think about your brother. Don't be greedy. If you see that maybe there's 10 of you and there's, 10 pieces of meat, make sure that you get just your meat, and if there's like 9 pieces of meat, be the one that chooses to split your meat into to give to your brothers. These are the values our grandfather, our fathers and mothers, train us on. At home, we need to start, inculcating these values again to our children. Explain to our children that your brother, your sister is not just that whether you guys get along or, it should stop there. No. Is you have to treat her or treat him based on the way you would treat me, because that's my child, just like you are my child. So they put that sense of responsibility in your head. So, when we got conquered, of course, all kind of fake values were forced onto us, the divide and conquer, the survival of the fittest, the resources were limited, so we kind of had to fight each other. We had to kind of become them when they came from Europe. That's what our elders tells us. They used to fight over everything. They used to fight over food and stuff like that and kill each other over nothing. So you could clearly tell that they were used to not much. So they have, taken over our wealth and restricted, limited our resources. So we have to understand that the number one resource we have available to us is one another. The number one resources we have around that no one can take from us unless we ourselves sell out is each other. That's what our elders teach us, that even if you have differences with your brothers at home, don't take it on the street. The street doesn't need to know. Okay? So when we as a group of people found ourselves ripped from our root and taken into captivity, there's a code of conduct such group of people need to adhere to ensure its survival. Okay? We are too quick to forgive everybody who has wronged us. I'm big on forgiveness. We have to, but I'm the kind of mom who teaches that forgiveness starts at home. Before you can go and forgive anybody outside, start practicing forgiving each other. Many of us have become the bigger savages than those who have enslaved us. The ego is to the roof. They can't dare apologize when they do something wrong. They go around burning bridges and they never come back and say they're sorry, but they think they can heal. No. Once you understand the peculiarity of our nature and our spirituality, you will walk differently. That's where a queen comes in, to tell her people what's up with us. Okay? So you have to understand that you have to learn to become spiritual so you can look at the spirit and not what the blah 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 that comes out of the mouth, not the exterior, not how good, how rich, how healthy or good or ugly they look. No, you look at the spirit. You won't jump off, because when I was crowned and went through all the initiation and all, I became spiritual. I started looking at life itself differently. I learned to look at the spirit behind people. And do you know that, first of all, each time I found myself in deep trouble, like, having to deal with something heavy, with court, with whatever, it was always because one of you, my people, mess with me. One of you is trying to steal from me and go run to court and make up lies, because one of you I have let in my company has started a revolt among my contractors. It had always been because of one of you. The fraudulent lawsuits, the lies, the gossip, the disrespect, the threats, the blackmail, the sabotage. My people put me through the ringer. If you sit in that resentment, if you stay in that, I gotta get even, they're not worth it. It goes for those of us who have hurt us. It goes for the so-called enemy who has enslaved us. But in my humble opinion, we are each other's worst enemies. The way we are handling each other out there. The level of disrespect we are handling each other out there. So to practice the code of unity per the Bantu people, when it comes to the home, is we view each other as one. Your brother's shortcomings are your shortcomings. Our elders teach us that it's our responsibility to cover the shortcomings of our brother for the sake of the family's reputation. So yeah, we cover up our shortcomings. The new culture is the bashing, the one who takes the news and bring it outside and invite others to throw stone. We have become bigger savages. We have no boundaries. We discuss about people's private life openly, and they haven't invited us to, because the capitalistic world that captured us and made us slaves, they make money off of everything. They make money off of people's hurt. They make money off of people's shame. They make money off anything. So if you wonder why things are for them the way they are, they need to stop and look back in their past. You know, many of them are in denial. I learned that among them, not all of them are evil. Each time I got in deep trouble because one of you dug a hole and threw me in there. And I call on the other side, that direct line. Yeah, the kings, the queens, we have direct, you know, we ask for help to God and the angels and whomever they dispatch. We know that in that dire time, that the person is connected to the same source, to the source of the light. Because this is what our crowns are rooted in. God, purity, Zambe. So it was always funny when one of you dug a hole and pushed me in there and licking their lips, thinking that I'm about to just be done, you know, and I called for help. Each time whomever they dispatched was Caucasian. Yes. What does it mean? It means that not all of them are evil. It means that on the other side, between my ancestors and their ancestors, there's a collaboration somewhere. It means that some of them have ancestors that can have access to my ancestors, because I know the dwelling place of my ancestors. I saw them right there with Tatan Zambe, God himself. They sit around him. We are God's people. So I know that not all of them are the seed of the devil. Not all of them are. So it gets tricky. We hope, we expect love, because you think that for a group of people who's being oppressed, they should really cling to one another, protect one another and help another. We cannot. We're not in the mind state to do that. We are broken. You know, we are programmed to do the worst. So we have to stop the blaming game, the pointing finger, and look ourselves in the mirrors. How have we been, you know, prolonging our captivity, prolonging our suffering, prolonging our disrespect from other communities? These are the questions we need to ask ourselves, okay? Unity at home, no matter how your brother annoys you, no matter how your sister annoys you, our elders teach us that when you go beyond the wall of your family compound, you can't let anybody out there know how you dislike your sister or how you dislike your brother. It's foolish, you know. You basically letting them know who they need to contact should they decide to bring you down. And who's at reach to you? Your brother who's in your house. So not only is tacky, but it's also foolish. So those of our children who love to beef publicly know that it's highly unattractive. It's a very savage act, okay? So when it comes to at home, when we call home, we part of that big family, okay? As we cover in previous videos, our forefathers were brothers. So what does it mean? We share the same ancestry. So, you know, we have to protect one another. We have to look out for one another. When we step outside the house, we have to treat every African person we meet with the same level of care and respect. Only when we start doing that, the world would take notice. The world would take note. Like, for example, among the Fang people, the tribe I'm from, the colonizer couldn't with us. You know, it was very hard to try to divide us because we have that strong-rooted culture we call Obangam, okay? It means that the minute you hear a cry of distress of someone who speaks your Fang language, you are ordered to go help. So we are known for that tribe people respect. So even in some countries, some people complain, oh, the foreigners come and they come and run the show and blah, 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 blah. You will not see such thing go down in Fang land. Let me give you the example of a country such as Equatorial Guinea, where in the leadership we have an autochthone Fang man. No, people complain about Chinese behavior elsewhere. In Equatorial Guinea, their leadership doesn't allow them to come around and mishandle and disrespect their people. It's all whatever we allow around us, that's what people will do to us, okay? So we have to, number one, learn to be on code. So we don't, like you heard Her Excellency Dr. Arikana say, we don't need to love each other to understand that in the matters of our survival, we have no choice but to stick together, to stick as one. Yeah, I believe in helping people, you know, when it comes from the right place. You know, but in the case of our people, I know that many of them were broken to feel that their mere existence reduces to be of servant to our former masters. So I know that that trauma is there. You will see them, it's almost like automatic. You know, an African like them can eat the ground and tumble. What they're gonna do, crack out, ah, ha, 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 laugh with all their crazy teeth out. That may be gonna be the first reaction they're gonna do before they come and help you rise. But if he's a former master descendant, they're gonna jump like they feel obligated to go to the rescue. These are trauma. It's not our job, my dear children. It's not our job to make sure they're okay. You can be marching when something bad happened, but we maintain this kind of behavior, this kind of, you know, just reflex. We have to center first. Just like I said previously, as a mother, a queen is her people's mother. I can't send you to go and love everybody else before I can tell you to love each other. Love starts at home. Start loving one another before you can extend that love outside our compound. Okay? Same thing for forgiveness. Well, we easy in forgiving anybody else, but when it comes to each other, we treat each other with the worst cruelty, the most unforgiveness. We want to get even. We want to go for the jugular. We want to destroy them. I stopped watching these reality shows. These women, they will go for each other's jobs. They will petition for each other to lose their job publicly. It's painful to watch. So these are behaviors we need to shy away from. And people who portray these behaviors, instead of making them celebrities, we stay away from them. Don't feed into that. Don't give that love. Don't give it support. Don't give it. Say, no, this generation, we are the generation who wants to do better. We are the generation who wants to heal. We are the generation who want to go beyond the color of our skin. Tata Nzambe gave us the knowledge. He brought us first so that we can teach them. As we failed to teach them, they became these savages they are. I think I watched a video of that, a Caucasian South African woman. And basically she, you know, that's her way of reaching out to us that, come on, it hurts me to see you guys like that. You know, you guys can resist us more. You know, as annoying as it is, you know, she's doing her best to try to reach out like, hey, you guys can do this. It's so sad because unfortunately it would take her to say that than one of us saying that to you and you believing. This is how serious the brainwash, this is how low they took us. But don't feel bad. As long as we can identify what is wrong with us, we can heal from it, we can do better. Okay? So you have to see that. I see some of them, Caucasian women coming into the healing phase. More and more of them are talking about being of the light. many of them that are like either tarot reader and stuff, they don't yet dare go to the topic of race. You know, they're still very scared to touch that, because if you spiritual and you know that what your ancestors did in the past is just an act of pure hell, and you're trying to heal from that. But our elders tells us that, you know, the first step of healing is to admit that you've done wrong and to apologize to the people you have done wrong. Mama Ricana says, as long as we call them white, we view them as superior, we view them as celestial, angelic beings. So we're doing that to ourselves. We found out they misappropriate themselves with that term. Now we fully grown adults who have the ability to choose the word they use in referring to whatever they talk about. So we do just that. And for that, we don't need a permission. Okay? So we go little by little correcting our own wrongs before we can think about correcting somebody else's wrong. It's not our responsibility to correct their wrong. They have a baggage they need to clear karmically. You know, things don't just get away because you want to go and shovel it. They have to wonder why, after enjoying centuries of free labor, after robbing many other countries and still robbing many other countries, they're still in debt to their teeth. You know, there's really no amount of money that can buy them happiness. You know, they're dealing with serious things. We African, when we hit a bump, we look back a generation or two, we like, something is wrong with our lineage. We start looking for, you know, solution in the spirit realm, because this is our forte. In our spirituality, we understand that whatever is happening to us is preordained in the spirit realm. So when something is wrong in our waking day, we always go back and see the spiritual health in which we in. It will help us solve many mysteries. And it only doesn't go for those who oppressed us and continue to oppress us. It also goes with us. A lot of us are full of big ego. They just walk around like they upset people, they steal from people, they destroy people's dream, they destroy people's career just because they can. They do all kind of thing and go by their life. They think that if they meditate enough, it's there. As long as that heart is mourning, as long as the person is going through the lack you cause, every tear that dripped through their eye, Satan Zambe counts. And one day he's going to rush a recall of all these offenses onto you. And some of us think, oh, people are sending me witchcraft, people are doing this, people are, no. You have to look at your past and have worked. For those of them who don't believe that we are indeed God's people, the question they need to ask themselves, that they are in the situation they are in because of who they did it to. As I said, not all of them are evil. That's why you need to become spiritual, to read the spirit. Because if you just want to shut people down because of the color of their skin, you're going to miss your blessings. Because when you tap into our source and you start calling help, they're going to send you help through the people you still seem to struggle with. Our ancestors, when you say you need help, whomever dispatched, they come to you. In the spirit realm, they are our helpers. You will see one of them come, and they will come and carry out the help in the most amazing way. If it's in court, they're going to go to battle for you like nobody had ever defended you. You know, if it's just a gift or something, they're going to do it in a God-ordained way that leaves you with no question as to who dispatched them. So you see, and as your queen, I have to tell you the truth. I can't be here saying lies. Many times that some of you try to mess with me in any form of shape, either in court or do something crazy to me, and I call for help. The help always came either in a form of a Caucasian man or Caucasian woman who went to battle, who went to war. So it let me know that there's a collaboration with some of their ancestors. So that's why when some of them want to reach out, even to ask you for forgiveness, you don't know what pushed them to come and pinpoint you to ask for forgiveness. Don't get cocky, all right? Give them their forgiveness to those who ask for it, okay? Start practicing that. Don't go around. I forgive those who ask for it, good. Other than that, you focus in your own community, your own home. We cannot going around marrying outside our community while we are still broken within our community, because it puts us in a vulnerable position, because push come to shove, we marry to someone from a community that is like tight. They always stick to one another no matter what. Now let's say with the history we have with many other communities who have enslaved us, so you marry to one of their son or their daughter, push comes to shove, his people or her people are at it again with us. Are you sure the person you married to need to be will bear arms to side and protect you and your people? If you can't answer that question and you're in a mixed marriage, you have no business being there. You're just being another slave who took their brokenness to someone who think will add value to them. As a queen, I can tell you, go and love other people while we are killing each other in our home. You are not taking any love outside. If you don't have love at home, you're taking brokenness and looking for someone to mend you. And if you fall in the wrong hand, instead of somebody nurturing you, building you up, they're going to use you. They're going to, they're going to make another slave out of you. Now that you are going to embrace your identity as a Bantu, you're going to learn how to move differently. You're going to learn how to court women differently. Women, you're going to learn how to let a man court you. You're going to learn all that. And once you regain all your culture, all your lost culture and stuff, it's going to be very difficult for you to hook up with someone who, let's say like our children say, doesn't have their shit together. Basically, like in their culture, when they get married, it's really no big deal. It's two people who just want to live together, okay? And the family, they can be supportive or not supportive. In fact, it's okay for the family to tear you apart if they can. In case of crisis, you have no elders to call to help mend. Who do they run to? Their friends, who probably want to be them, who gonna pour them venom. You're gonna be like, I'm a Bantu woman. When a man desires me, he comes, he doesn't go and try to catfish me online. He comes and knock at my compound door. Hey, I want to talk to you. Can we talk? And stuff. First, he won't even approach me first. He's going to go through the males in my compound first. He probably going to try to befriend one of my brothers first, because he got to get permission from somebody around me. I like your sister. Is it okay for me to talk to her? If you have the brother's approval, the brother's going to be the one to go call that sister for you or tell you, get out of here. I better not see you talk to my sister again. Okay? So you're going to have to learn all this. You're going to have to know that when you guys get married, both families sit down, they will assign an elder, a set of elders from the groom side, a set of elders in the bride side, that when there's conflict with that young union, these elders are vowing you, they're going to do everything humanly possible to help you to stay together. You're going to say, I'm a Bantu woman. If you don't come with that kind of understanding, that kind of values, and in your family, don't bother. I don't need to be with a man who, each time we argue, the mother is already telling him how to clean the house while I'm at work, take everything and disappear, how to call the cops on me, how to play these little legal games. No, that's why our parents say stick to what you know. Because what you know, there's already a culture there to preserve. Okay? Some of our children, get offended. African only say, because, well, there's something to preserve. There's a language that, is in extension to preserve. That's why our parents, they try to hook us up with their family, friends, children, or whatever. because they know how they raise their children, they know how they raise us, they know that in case of conflict, our mothers will swear that you two are not coming apart, you will work it out. But in a typical Western family, what is she going to do? She's going to basically help you, take apart what took you so long to build. That's the big difference between the Western mom, and the African mom. The African mom gonna be, divorce is an embarrassment, is shame. Okay? We're gonna work this out. There's children between you. And the elders gonna sit the men, the eldest female gonna sit the woman, they're gonna talk to you. They're gonna, tell you what our people do when we're facing these conflicts. This is how we can go about to achieve conflict resolution. But when you hook up with someone who has no culture, who doesn't have that blueprint, and I'm not saying that's disrespectfully, because in the stage we don't understand why other nationalities don't want to mess with us. And this is one of the reasons, especially those who come from very heavy cultures, such as African or Indians from India or whatever, and other Asiatic or whatever, mapped out and stuff. It's going to be difficult to accept someone that come from a culture where they don't have these blueprints already predefined. You have to understand that we have to go back to our own, sit on our own, claim our own, and celebrate our own. Only then, when we're comfortable about who we are, then we can claim we love who we are. And then we can claim we even have any love to give out there. Because what are we giving out there? We're just exchanging favors. And we call it marriages. We call it relationship. You see so hurt people, get together. You even wonder what they're doing together. They get together to hurt one another, to outdo each other. It's painful to watch. We have to get real. We have a lot of love to nurture, to grow, and to give to the right people, to give to the people who care to heal, to give to the people who care to do better. Okay? Don't try to go and consider, let's say, someone who swear they're not from Africa. They consider themselves black. They consider themselves the indigenous of here. The reason why our parents would, arrange marriages or tell us stick with other Africans and stuff is because there's something to be preserved. Our people teach us, like, we get married, we have children and all. We get together to grow in number, to grow in wealth. It's not really for schooling or whatever reason people are getting married these days for. Okay, we get married to grow in number and in wealth, in leaving in a solid legacy behind. So that's why. So, for example, now that you are Bantu, you will learn your culture, you will embrace your culture, you will know that when a man desires you, he comes and talk to your people that, hey, I'm interested in your daughter. I'm going to bring my parents, to show face, introduction, right, they call it. Everything has a step. You have to show respect to the girl's people. And the girl herself, she comes with a set of training on how to conduct herself around her in-laws or future in-laws and so on. At work, our people need to have more loyalty than that. Our people no longer have loyalty these days. We need to stop beating about the bush, maintaining the division, maintaining the confusion. We need to see that as long as we don't apply the code of unity in our day-to-day life, we need to forget about it. We're wasting people's time. We're wasting people's breath. Okay, at work, when it comes to work, many of us, the broken ones of us, have that syndrome. When you found them in an environment, with majority Caucasian, what do? They start fighting you. They become your spy. Okay? They be the one to run. And you know how long you stayed on your break, or they come even and try to see what you think about the people and take it back. We need to cut that if we want the respect of the people we work around. We need to throw such behavior away. Allez, to the garbage. Okay? Ubuntu, the code of unity is your fellow African walks in. The first smile is, hey, my brother, I'm here. How are you? You're welcome. Welcome on board. You should be the first one to welcome him or her, okay? To let him know, hey, we represented, we're here too. That's the attitude you need to have. Whenever you found each other at a workplace, you look out for each other. Oh, there's this position that just became available. Do you want to apply it? And I apply for. You always strategize, not compete against each other. Even in contract negotiation, you know that in certain environment, the system that conquered us and made us slave, you know, love to pin us one against another. So when a situation like that presents, you don't have to partake into it. If they promise a position to your sister, they say, hey, you know, I'd be glad to see, you know, whomever it was initially intended for. You may think that, oh, you're losing, you're missing out on this, you're missing out. No, because if you understand how our spirituality works, you will understand that every single action we lay, there's a ramification or there's a blessing that comes. So we choose each time we deal with one another. So at work, no competition. You're not there to tell on each other. You're not there to compete with one another. Those of you who work with toxic one of us, share the message, okay? Somebody you know takes you to an organization or even at a company. Once you get there, you turn your back on the person who took you there. You go there and start you become Mr. Popular, you know, just so that you can become more popular than the person who even brought you. Many of us become disloyal. They go there, give them a few months. They go and do a popularity contest with you who introduced them to that company, to that organization, or to that group of friends. It's disgusting to act like that. So how do we change that? When we come around disloyal people, we let them know that we don't roll like that. For example, I have a lot of friends and I introduce you to an organization. Once I have all of you enroll in that organization, the leadership of that organization almost like kind of throw me away, like, hey, Queen Ngningone, we don't need you anymore. Go, 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 go. And you, the people I brought in, are sitting there. You just sit there and watch me leave. Our elders tell us this is where the code of unity has to come to play. As you see me leave, pick up your biomes, like we say back at home, your load. Pick up your load and follow your person. That person still want to contact me as if we cool? No. I be like, you know, that friend that connect us, I heard there's some quarrels among you. And why don't you work it out with my brother over there first, huh? Because I know you through him. And you can't be at war with him and be good with me. You grab your things and say, listen, and settle that difference with my brother first. And then we shall meet again. Until then, bye. It's going to make people think. It's going to teach people that it's not everybody you can use. It's going to teach people that it's not everybody you can buy. But the supremacist system is no, you get your own and it doesn't matter. You keep going. I know that these are values that in a capitalistic world, people are going to say that. It's crazy. You have to think about yourself. Well, thinking about yourself is maintaining us where we are. People with no values, with no morals. People who put a paycheck first. You can get them killed their own for a paycheck. They're going to tell you they have bills to pay. You can get them betrayed lifetime friendships over a check. They're going to tell you they don't pay my bills. That's why we keep on getting what we're getting, okay? These are the things our elders teach us. This is how we cultivate Ubuntu. When you go somewhere, acknowledge each other, greet each other, treat each other with respect, treat each other with love. So this is how we educate one another. One teach one, Remember that. Let's continue. In public, how do we apply the code of unity, the Ubuntu code in public? First, we have to learn to treat each other with the utmost respect. We have to learn to greet when we bump into each other. Eye contact. Hey, my brother, I see you. How are you today? Hey, my sister, I see you. Make it an effort. Okay, so first off, is send the message that these African people know each other. Or if they don't all know each other, at least they care about each other. They give themselves the time to acknowledge each other's presence and greet each other. You see, us the Fang people are like that. The minute we hear the accent, oh, Mbolo my brother, Mbolo my sister, we have to acknowledge each other. In public, in the community, you see one of us in distress, you should jump with the same impulse. Many of you jump when you see a former master descendant in distress. Flip that programming. Okay? When it's one of your own, you should jump. It becomes a duty. Okay? You jump, you go help. If it's at the cash register, my brother, you short, is it, how can I help you? Whatever, cover for each other's shortcomings. Don't expose each other's nakedness. Our elders tells us that what you know that your brother has done that is a shame, you shouldn't be the one to partake into broadcasting it in the airways, or we always gonna remain this group of people everybody mocks. Okay? At school, you look out for your own. Look out for your own. Sister, are you okay? Brother, are you okay? Always greet each other. Make it a habit. And when there's a disagreement, it doesn't mean that we will not argue. It doesn't mean that we won't fight. Make sure you squash it. Don't hang out with people who don't want to hang out with you. If we respect one another, we don't need to love each other. Respect alone is a boundary. Remember, we are batatas, bananas. We sons and daughters of the same fathers, the same mothers. So we have to keep that in mind at all times. Let's say looking out for each other. It will grow with time. It will grow into a blossoming admiration for one another. Is going to grow into, blossoming love. We can't just say that we can never come to love one another if we haven't even tried. We're starting to learn how to respect one another. So you have to apply the code of unity at all time, at all costs. Always make sure your brother is taken care of, vice versa. We are messed up the way we are messed up in everything because the people in whose hand we fell gave us what they had. They gave us the hatred they have. So that's why I want for our children to cool their head down. You think those who put us through the worst love themselves? You think they love their children? No. Many of you have done things that would be considered in the eyes of today's society as shameful. All right? Many of you may have done things that regular people will look at and say that this is so shameful, you did that and blah, blah. You know you did that, but you did that for a reason. Was it to feed the kids? Was it to maintain a roof above your head? Whatever reason you did that for. But deep down you know it's wrong. But what do you do before you die? You tell your kids, I did this, but I don't want any of you to mess with this. This is dangerous. And stop, because that's what a father, that's what a mother does. Even when we mess up, we want to make sure our children didn't mess up now. What kind of love a group of people who have initiated their children into, you gotta do whatever it takes in order for you to have, including kill, murder, rape, and all the above. They love themselves? No. They love their children much less, because they know that there's more than this carnal envelope. There's an account. The soul has a journey. Okay? So that's why it's important that we are spiritual. I have to check some of you every now and then. Some of our children are out there just bluntly disrespectful. Maybe because I'm not a Caucasian queen, they don't come to me with the same respect They would approach the queen of their former masters. They come on my page with just their toxicity and their savagery. They want to talk to me anyhow. As sweet as this queen is, I don't take disrespect. Many of our children, they have that fight. They want to fight somebody, but they won't dare fight who they truly should fight. They come around their own people, try to abuse them. If you don't like what I'm saying, please click off, okay? There's an idiot of all the video I post. They always come one single person. He will come and put a thumb down. I started using that point of contact to create havoc into that imbecile's life, because the work I do is a labor of love. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy out of me. The least you can do, you don't like my message, click off, just go get lost somewhere. But they come and report, they do this. What do you think gonna happen to you? Everything is tied. Let me not go too deep on this platform. So know that there's a code of unity. We have to work, we have to obey. It's not fair to say, oh, we don't know how to stay in code. We don't know how to stay in code, maybe because nobody ever taught us how to stay in code. You know, these teachings are there so that we learn, okay? If we're gonna say we are one, it doesn't mean that it's only selective. We only choose the issues in front of which we stay one. When it comes to our survival, it means our economic gains, it means our safety, it means whatever we need to stick around, and not just mere existing or surviving, but really living a productive and joyful life. We have to protect one another. We have to help heal one another, or we're wasting time, okay? We have to go back to be these supernatural human beings that Nzambe created us to be. And it's not too late. It's never too late. I'm gonna stop it here. So for those who would like to follow me on Patreon, now on Patreon, I'm going to tackle on the spiritual aspect, what we have to gain and what we have to lose when we stay on code or when we don't stay on code. Because as you know, we are highly spiritual beings. We rank very high. Many of us do, you know, many of us do, because of the ancient people we are, you know, ancestors, ancient being. These are the people we come. Go watch the video on Patreon, the meaning of ancestor per the Bantu people. Okay, so you have to understand the spiritual ramification of staying on code, the spiritual blessings we get, the whole world which opens up to us when we do. You have to understand there's a lot to gain for us to get on code. On the spirit realm, you have no idea, okay? And there's so much to lose when we don't stay on code and we feed off each other. We destroy each other. Whatever we build, whatever our brother build, we go intentionally. We smile on their face so that we are allowed in their presence just for them to stab us like that. We also gonna find out the spiritual ramification attached to such behaviors. Okay, so to my beautiful and amazing royals of Africa, let me give the proper closing to our amazing children out there. Keep it in mind, we're learning, we're growing, nobody is perfect, okay? So peace in your homes, love in your heart, and unity, for without which we are so done. Until next time. Mwah.